let's get into our predicted lineup. And first, we're going to look at the current state of play when it comes to the injuries and suspensions and players unavailable. And as you can see here, Ange has confirmed in his press conference that Ben Davies will be out for a month at least. Lo Celso has also been added to the injury table with a hamstring injury, and he could be out for a similar time frame. He said that Romero has returned to training, but the weekend could be too soon for him. But he didn't completely rule him out. And obviously there are long-term injuries with Perisic, Veliz, and Manos Solomon still remaining long-term injuries. Although he did say that Maddison is in training, but training away from the group still, not back in full training, which is a positive step. And Pat Matissar, Heung-min Son and Yves Bissouma all away on international duty, playing in the AFCON and the Asia Cup respectively as well. So not going to be back at least till the beginning of February. All right. Predicted lineup time, Brian. Let's start with the goalkeeper. There's only one man to pick here. Who could it be? Vicario, obviously, is going to be in goal. I do suspect he's going to have a big, important role to play with how Man United play. And I do think his sweeping as well is going to be quite crucial with how Man United would like to hit us on the counter-attack. I'm not going to be surprised if they try a lot of balls over the top, or a lot of passes in behind. And if Vicario can sweep as much as possible, that will really help just preventing Man United building some sort of headway in the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally the first name on the team sheet. But I mean, in general, this guy has just been stellar, hasn't he? He is in a league of their own, or his own, shall I say? And there's the easiest decision we ever have had to do at any point, and you and Ben will do all season, is no doubt who will always be number one. This man is just a cut above.
Absolutely. Next up, we are going to go with Pedro Porro on the right-hand side. Been so consistent this season, and he's been a breath of fresh air as a right-back, one of the best right-backs in the Premier League so far. And I think, obviously, the last game we played, he scored the winner against Burnley, cracking strike. Hopefully we see more of that as the season goes on. But I think his passing as well is going to be crucial, because we're going to have the likes of Werner and Brennan Johnson looking to find that space in behind. And without Maddison there, and even without Lo Celso there now, I'm looking at the team and it's like, who really has that passing range and that vision to find him? And I think Porro is probably our best bet, to be honest.
He is. And I'll tell you what, one thing I've got yet to see with Werner is how good is he at breaking the offside trap? Because if we can get him doing it, we've got a man in Porro that will be able to find him time and time again. He has been, for me, I said it, the most improved player at the club. He is vital. I was watching, I think it was the transfer talk thing on Sky Sports today, when they were talking about players coming in and how things have turned around, and saying this guy is becoming as influential, like Trent Alexander is to Liverpool, and how those two right backs are way ahead of the pack when it comes to anyone else. And in that kind of thing, obviously you've got Kyle Walker that offers you something different for City. He's instrumental. He's, especially with the lack of Maddison and his creativity, I think it could be a big game for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a very, very big game for Pedro Porro. On the right-hand side of the centre-backs, we are going to go for Radu Dragusin, just off the back of the fact that Romero, Ange is claiming that the weekend might come too soon for Romero, and he's only had one training session with the team. I mean, there is a chance Romero does come in and Ange is playing mind games, but the fact that Dragusin is ready to play and he's fit, and he's only had one training session as well, just tipped the scales for me off the back of, if Romero had a bit longer, I would have gone for him. But the fact he's only had one training session, I think Dragusin's probably the best bet right now, and he's going to be thrown into the deep end. But it'll be interesting to see how he responds.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I actually think Emerson stood more of a chance of getting the first team nod over Romero. I think we've got to make sure only for the first team, not saying he's better or anything, just because of Romero's fitness. I think he won't risk Van der Ven and Romero. So if he wasn't going to play Dragusin, I really thought it would have been Emerson. But yeah, happy to see Dragusin. And obviously he has been playing every minute for Genoa. He has been playing well for them, full of confidence, got his move, and expect him definitely to start.
Next up, we're going to go with Mickey van de Ven for his long-awaited return. We're going to go with him to start. Obviously, he was on the bench for the game against Burnley. Hasn't started a game or seen any minutes in any game since the Chelsea game back in October, also November, early November. So it'd be really brilliant to have him back in the team. It was interesting to hear him in an interview earlier in the week. He was asked about whether he's going to play, and he said, I'm back in the squad. It'll be good to get some minutes against Man United. I don't know if he was playing his cards close to his chest, but I think seeing that he was on the bench, he's had a whole week now training full with the team. I think he has to come back into the team. I think he has to start.
100%. And do you know what? When you get to Old Trafford and when everyone's watching it around the world and sees his name in the team sheet, the team himself will feel a lot more confident. But for us, it's massive. I can't believe, the impact this man has had, and just how well he is adapted to the Premier League. He came in with just 1 or 2 training sessions against Brentford. I fully expect him to start and carry on the form that he did. I cannot wait to see him back in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird with all the kind of positive news going into it. Romero back, potentially Dragusin in, Werner in. The fact that Van de Ven, our best centre back, such an important player for us, is returning. It's kind of gone under the radar about how positive that is. Yep. It's kind of like old news that he's going to be starting again. And that's probably, you could argue that's the most positive thing of the lot, having Van de Ven back in the centre back. Yep. So can't wait for him. Left back, Destiny Udogie is going to retain his place, of course. Obviously, Ryan Sessegnon is now an option there, but obviously he's just returned from injury. I don't see him getting a start anytime soon, but he is there as our backup left back. Destiny's going to have a very important role because Garnacho is in fine form, and Destiny's going to have a lot of ground to cover if Garnacho's getting in behind him and taking him on. But let's hope Destiny gives him more to think about going the other way than Garnacho does attacking Spurs.
Yeah, this guy, he's got the stamina and just durability. His energy levels just surprise me every single time. Just when I think he can't surprise me anymore, he does. And I think out of the back four, he's going to have the biggest game or the biggest challenge and the biggest role to play. Obviously, covering and helping Van de Ven back. Then, obviously, like he did against Bournemouth, covering the if they break the trap to get there. I think a very, very important game for him. I just hope he doesn't do what he's done recently and picks up a silly yellow card that he has the tendency to do, which is the one little thing that I think puts that he's got to work on. But I expect a stellar performance from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in the number 6 position, we are going to stick with Rodrigo Bentancur. I thought had a really strong showing against Burnley on Friday night. I thought he looked a bit rusty when he came back into the team against Bournemouth, although still had some good moments. Obviously, was involved in our opening goal in that game. But I thought he was really looking a lot sharper against Burnley. He played some really lovely first-time passes into the front three and was really setting us on attacks. Was able to play 80 minutes in that game. So based off the fact he's had 60, he's then had 80. So I'm assuming after another 9 days of training, he should be all right for 90 minutes in this game. I think he's going to be basically. It's going to be on him to win the midfield battle. I really think that. I think he's going to be the one we're going to be relying on. It's going to be really tough with Bruno, Casemiro potentially being back as well. McTominay has been in decent form this season for Man United. But if we're going to win that midfield battle, he's going to have the biggest say, I reckon.
Yeah, and like I said, I think he's going to be captain again, isn't he? He'll give another captain's performance. He like I said, protecting Van de Ven, and obviously he can run the midfield by his own. And I can't really say much more than you said. I think he gets the whole 90 minutes, and he's going to be integral to that midfield battle.
Yeah, 100%. Really looking forward to seeing back in the team, and hopefully at his fully best for 90 minutes now. On on the right, then first number 8, we are going to go Ollie Skip. He has been the player who has been preferred by Postecoglou so far since we've lost Pape Matar Sarr. Obviously, the other option is Højbjerg. You could argue is he's probably a better player right now, I have to agree. But just on the fact that he has been choosing Skip, and even against Burnley, he didn't take Skip off until very late on. He wasn't the first player to take off. So I think he's going to give Skip another opportunity. He definitely needs to have a massive improvement in this game. And it's another opportunity for him to show what he can do. But I've been definitely underwhelmed in his past couple of starts. So need to do better from Skippy. But I think he will start.
Yeah, I was certainly underwhelmed with him at Burnley. To tell you the truth, like I said, I saw him have that long misplaced pass where he well over hit it, and then I can't remember anything till he got substituted. He's going to need to have an impact. If he doesn't, I expect we'll see Højbjerg a lot sooner in the second half, and then he can have an impact in that way. But yeah, we definitely need something better from Ollie Skip.
Yeah, he needs to play a bit more confidence and just a bit more quality. I feel like he's playing within himself a bit at the moment on his Skip. Maybe he knows what a big opportunity it is right now in the team and he's struggling to cope with that. Sometimes when the pressure's off, he performs better. But look, big opportunity for Ollie Skip in a big game. Let's hope he improves. In the left centre midfield, in the number 10, we are going to go with Dejan Kulusevski. Obviously, Lo Celso is out, so he's unavailable for this game. James Maddison is still a bit of a way off returning, so obviously there's only one option left in this role. It is going to be Kulusevski, and he's got a very important role to play. He's been playing really well in this number 10 position of late, and I see him getting some joy in this one. In between the lines, taking on the likes of McTominay and Casemiro. I'm sure he's going to be up for the battle. So yeah, big opportunity again for Kulusevski to nail down that number 10 spot.
Yeah, I really like seeing him there. I've really enjoyed watching him there. I think he's played his best football there this season. Like I said, it could be a big game for him if he can get in the mix with McTominay, and he could be the one that winds up Fernandes very easily. His work rate is exceptional. We are going to need people like Casemiro that have got a very good work rate as well. Big game for him, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him play there. And obviously, he's going to have a new outlet on the left to see if there's a relationship there to build on.
100%. That's a really good point. On the right-hand side, we're going to go with Brennan Johnson. Back on his favoured right-hand side. I didn't think he was particularly great against Burnley when he started on the left. I do think his best performances have come off the right, and he's going to have potentially up against Luke Shaw, who's returning from injury, so maybe it'll be really good to test him early on and have a really good go at Luke Shaw early on in this game, and see test his legs, see how match fit he is. And I think he can go a long way of really stretching Man United, getting in behind them and causing them problems.
Yeah, I am a fan of Johnson. I think he really is going to become good. And this time next year, we're talking about him in a lot more positivity and having a much bigger influence on the team. But with this game, I think he's just lacking that bit of confidence. And if something can just go right for him, whether it's a decent goal, a tap in, whatever it may be, it will set him off for the second half of the season, and I think he gets that on Sunday. I think he has I think he's on the score sheet on Sunday, and I think this will be the start of the Brennan Johnson we bought and we saw at the end of Forest last season.
You think he's on the score sheet on Sunday? I hope you're right about that.
I think both wingers are.
Well, you heard it here first. Up front, obviously, we are going to go with Richarlison. Has been in good form, but didn't have his best game against Burnley. He had a couple of opportunities where he kind of fluffed his lines a bit, and then for the goal, even just before we scored, he kind of fluffed another opportunity. But he's going to have the likes of Varane and Lisandro Martinez to combat with. He's going to have a big challenge up to get any joy out of them. If Lisandro Martinez is going to start, we know he's like very much a front-footed defender, and he likes to step a bit like Romero, likes to step in front of the attackers and cut off the supply at source. So I think Richarlison is going to have to be strong. He's going to have to make it stick when it gets fired at him. And he's going to have to bring other players into play. That's one of his weaker points of his game. But I think in this one, those are going to be things he's going to have to focus on if he's going to get joy in this game.
I've actually been impressed with Richarlison's hold-up play last couple of games. But listen, one thing he keeps doing is snatching at shots. A couple of gaps for 2 games in a row. He's like against Bournemouth and against Burnley. Same position where he's dragged his shot wide when he was clear through in the second half. But I have been impressed with his work rate and his hold-up play, and you got to look at that. You want to talk about some shoutouts, or even look at Richarlison Martinez. If there's anyone that's going to wind anyone up, I think that's a key battle. And as you said, if he can get his hold up play right and use the pace of Johnson and Werner, this could be big problems for Manchester United. Big problems. And I think Richarlison has a good game, and I think his hold up play will be commended by the end of it.
Yeah, and hopefully, he should be getting supply from both wings now, not only on the right hand side on this one, which hopefully can lead to him getting more chances. And without further ado, on the left-hand side, we are going to give a debut to Timo Werner. I think that's what we've brought him in to, give us that pace and that front-footed nature while Sonny's out. It'll be interesting to see when Sonny is back, how we play him. Do we put him up centrally and put Sonny back on the left, or do we keep him on the left and maybe Son up front? But that's a story for 6 weeks' time. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to the system under Ange Postecoglou. For me, I don't think his best position is on the left. I do think it's central, but I think for now he is going to make do on the left, and I hope he has a confident start. I think most of his good work is going to be running in behind and getting in on goal and stretching Man United. But hopefully, when he's on the ball, he can really take on their fullback and cause them problems. But I do see a lot of his good work coming when he's trying to run in behind and off the ball.
Well, the other way I see it with Werner, and it gives us this option as well, Sim, if Richarlison isn't having the best of games, you could put him on the left and put Werner on the centre. So we've got that fluidity where we can mix it up and change it about. And I can see that happening at some point. I think Spurs could do that to keep mixing up United and they're not knowing who's where. I think you could see Werner play some of this game up front. But on the left, I'm expecting to see... Hopefully we can try and use his pace straight away and get him on the ball as soon as possible to see what he's got. But I think, would you say now, with Son out, Werner would also be the penalty taker?
That is a good point. I didn't even think about that. I think it's either him or Porro, I would say, because Porro, I knew, took a few for Sporting and was quite good at them. But Werner obviously did take them for Leipzig when he was their number one striker. I remember him even scoring one at the Tottenham Stadium, if you remember, for Leipzig in the Champions League. I'm looking at the team. I can't see any other option. Maybe Richarlison. I think he took some penalties for Everton, but I wouldn't trust him on a penalty, to be honest. So, I think
Werner would.
Yeah, I think Werner's quite good at penalties, to be honest. So I think that's a great shout. I think Werner could maybe come straight in and be a penalty taker. But look, let's run through the team one more time. So Vicario in goal, Porro, Dragusin, Van de Ven and Udogie, Bentancur, Skip and Kulusevski in among the midfield with Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner supporting Richarlison in the front line. Brian is going for 4-1 to Tottenham. I'm going for 2-2 in this one. Very interesting lineup. It'll be interesting to see if he does go with that or what I'm very intrigued to see the lineup Ange does actually go with on Sunday. I think it's one of those ones where it's hard to predict what he's actually going to go with. But that is it for the predicted lineup.